Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about choosing a path for selling your art. I know this is a huge question that so many of you have. You want to get from 0 to 1,000 or 0 to 10,000, and you're trying to figure out where is that entry point for me to sell my work. I'm Liz Kohler-Brown. I'm a surface designer and hand letterer who loves helping people find their style and sell their work. I want to start by sharing some of the questions I've gotten recently and over the years that relate to selling your work. Tell me in the comments if these resonate with you. With the overwhelming variety of options at our fingertips, how should we choose how to sell our work? What's the right way for me, and which ways are oversaturated or not profitable? These are questions that I think a lot of creatives have and are trying to figure out their path forward, and these are sort of the sticking points that prevent most people from pushing forward. So I want to talk about those questions today, but first I want to tell you how I got to where I am today and this path that I took. First of all, in 2014, I started selling repeat patterns on Spoonflower. So I had this realization, oh, I can make money on Spoonflower selling my patterns, so I'm gonna do a lot of those. At that point, I made several thousand patterns. In 2015, I realized that design assets can be used on other platforms. So I took my top sellers on Spoonflower, put those on other sites like Redbubble, Society6, and a few others that didn't do as well, but were good for testing purposes, and just kind of moving tags, titles, and descriptions from one platform to another. Flash forward all the way to 2018, I realized that teaching art online was possible and profitable. I started teaching on Skillshare. I eventually moved things over to my own website, and I continued teaching while maintaining that print-on-demand stuff from before. In 2019, I wrote a book. I never thought that was possible for me, but I did it, and it was profitable as well. In 2020, I started selling creative assets on Creative Market and realizing what a great income stream that can be. I also started licensing my art in 2020 and self-publishing in 2020 rather than working with a publisher. Here we are in 2025. I have a varied income with a team helping me run my business. I wanted to show you all that whole journey because I hear a lot of people starting out at the very beginning saying, I just don't know how I can do it all. I don't know how I can do print on demand, Spoonflower, Pinterest, Instagram, get an email list, pitch to licensors. How do I do it all? And the thing is, you can't. No one person can successfully do it all. So we're going to talk a lot about that in this video. My goal is to help you find that one entry path that will get you to that next level, rather than trying to help you do everything, which I don't personally think is possible or a good idea to try. The problem that a lot of people face is that a lot of artists who are just starting out feel the desire to try everything and be on all the platforms. But the more thinly we spread our efforts, the longer it takes to grow your business. It feels like you're doing more by doing all the things, but you're actually doing less. I think a big part of this is social media. We get to see everyone's successes. So-and-so licensed over here. So-and-so is doing well in print on demand. So-and-so has a new course. You just get all these successes in your face every day through your email, through your Instagram, all of that stuff, putting that pressure on you and making you feel like if you don't do it all, you're failing. But what you don't necessarily see is the back end of those people's business where they started with one idea that did really well that propelled them to that next stage. So that's what I want to help you do. Find your one thing. If you had to choose one thing, just hypothetically here, what would it be? Tell us in the comments. I think putting it in words makes it more real and makes you more likely to be successful. How long could you actually commit to that one thing? And what results would you need to get to keep going with that one thing? That might be a certain amount of monthly income every month. It might be a certain number of units sold. It might be a certain company that you want to work with. Put it in writing, put it in your journal, put it on paper, put it up on your studio wall. What is that one thing? How are you going to get there? And what are the results that you really want to happen, that you really hope will happen in the near future? So if you're going to do a little bit of writing, which I do suggest, go with this formula and see where it takes you. So the first part of the formula is what you love to make. So write down the things you love to make. That might be a big list. It might be a small list. It might say hand lettering, service design, greeting cards, calendars, stickers. Put it all down there and circle the ones that are most important to you. Next is what is selling and or trending. This is where you go do some research. Find some sellers like you who are similar in terms of the style of the artwork, who are selling a lot of units of that particular thing. How many people are doing well with this thing? So, if you're looking at something really obscure like dog collars with French lettering on them, you might have a little more difficulty than just thinking about pet products overall. What pet products are selling? Is it bandanas? Is it collars? Is it little outfits for dogs, like those little custom outfits for dogs? Whatever it is, you want to know who's selling it. Try to get an idea of how much they're selling it to validate your idea. I think that is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of new artists make, is they don't validate their idea. They think if they go and look at some other artists that they're copying or cheating. But the truth is, if you don't validate your market before you get started, you're very unlikely to succeed. So you might look at a successful seller and say, oh, that makes me feel bad because I'm not successful. But what I would encourage you to think is, oh, that's awesome that that person is being successful, because that means that I have a chance at being successful. So find your examples in the real world, find those people, write their names down. What are they doing? How did they do this? How did they get it started? What are their emails like? What's their shop like? Where do they sell? All of those things need to go in your notes. Next is the strategy that fits your goals. Now, some people have limited time, so they don't have a lot of time to spend on this. So figure out the number of hours you can spend on this, the strategy that your heroes are using. Write all that stuff down here. I think if you do that, this formula equals your dream job. It has worked for me. It's worked for many creatives that I've seen do this process. But the important thing here is that you're choosing one thing and not a bunch of things at once. I have talked to so many artists who are trying to do it all and are not being successful at any of the things. And they feel frustrated. They feel like they're failing. But I think in the end, there's one or two things there that they could pursue and push forward just on those things and leave everything else behind, and then they would be happy. So it's like, it feels like you're being limited by choosing something, but what we really need to do is select that one thing and push forward on it. Your path will likely fit into one of these sections. Number one, local, which could be like local galleries, coffee shops, stores, museums, or other shops. Possibly print on demand. That's where I started, and there's both active and passive print on demand, where you just upload your stuff or you upload it to a printing company and then connect it to your Etsy shop. 3 is art licensing. That's where you license art to companies or individuals. And then digital products, like selling fonts, graphics, other assets to designers and hobbyists. There's also that option of custom artwork, where you're creating custom art for companies or individuals, or even content creation like blogging, social media, posts, and teaching. So go ahead and write down in your notebook, which one of these avenues are you taking? Which one of these avenues does what you want to do fit into? Pursue that one avenue before moving on to all the other avenues. Now, maybe 10 years down the line, you have all those avenues, but when you're starting out, you just want to push on that one avenue. I know, you guys, that everyone says you need to diversify your income, but it's not emphasized enough that you need to build one before moving on to the next. If you build multiple buildings at once, they all take too long to finish. If you are struggling to come up with ideas for how to sell your work, I have a free guide that has 100 ways to sell your art. And this goes through ideas for all of those avenues that we just looked at. And I have real examples from artists that I know who have been successful. 100+ ways to sell your art, 6 avenues for selling your art, 14 successful artists sharing their stories, and a bunch of fill in the blank sections for you to complete. I'm going to put a link to that right below this video. It's totally free and I'll send it to you in your inbox so that you can start that journey of figuring out what is that one path that's going to take me where I want to go. It's question time. This is the part of the iPad Art Breaks where I share an answer to a question that you all have asked me in the comments. So go ahead and ask me a question in the comments if you want to, and I might feature your question next time. Thank you so much for sharing. May I ask what canvas size you are using for your calendar? So I sell my calendars on Etsy in my Etsy shop using a print-on-demand provider. So really you can use any size that the printer that you have chosen uses. I happen to use Gelato. That's the printer I use. So I select from one of their sizes and I have calendars in a few different sizes. So I'm not sure exactly which calendar you're looking at, so I don't want to say a size, but I do want to mention that I have a Calendar Bootcamp, which is a free program where I show you my whole annual schedule for designing calendars and then redating them for the academic year. We just passed the academic season where people are buying a ton of academic calendars, which starts in July, ends in June. So rather than that regular January to December. So if you want to see all the calendar sizes that I love, get some artwork templates, figure out your schedule for designing your calendar, check out Calendar Bootcamp. We're going to put a link to that below this video. I'll see you all next time. Bye. If you guys enjoyed this video, you might also like the only print-on-demand platform that shows you what is selling, where I share this print-on-demand platform that I'm loving right now and selling a lot of my work on. And the top 5 places to sell your art in 2025. If you're watching this in 2025, this is time sensitive, so go check out that video and see some of the hot places to sell your art right now.